Hello guys and welcome back. This is Mystery Truth. More live updates on La Palma Volcano, and we want to use this medium after what has happened in the Canary Island. We want to give a little explanation on what volcanoes are all about. Volcanoes are Earth's geologic architects. They have created more than 80% of our planet's surface, laying the foundation that has allowed life to thrive. The explosive force crafts mountains as well as craters. Lava rivers spread into bleak landscapes. But as time ticks by, the elements break down these volcanic rocks, liberating nutrients from their stony prisons and creating remarkably fertile soils that have allowed civilizations to flourish. There are volcanoes on every continent, even Antarctica. Some 1,500 volcanoes are still considered potentially active around the world today. 161 of those, over 10%, sit within the boundaries of the United States. But each volcano is different. Some burst to life in explosive eruptions, like the 1991 eruption of Mount Pinatubo, and other burp rivers of lava in what's known as an effusive eruption, like the 2018 activity of Hawaii's Kilauea volcano, and also what we are currently seeing in La Palma. These differences are all thanks to the chemistry driving the molten activity. Effusive eruptions are more common when the magma is less viscous or runny, which allows gas to escape and the magma to flow down the volcano's slopes. Explosive eruptions, however, happen when viscous molten rock traps the gases, building pressure until it violently breaks free. So now here comes the next question. How do volcanoes form? The majority of volcanoes in the world form along the boundaries of Earth's tectonic plates. Earth's tectonic plates, massive expanses of our planet's lithosphere that continually shifts, bumping into one another. When tectonic plates collide, one often plunges deep below the other in what's known as subduction zone. As the descending landmass sinks deep into the earth, temperatures and pressures climb, releasing water from the rocks. The water slightly reduces the melting point of the overlying rock, forming magma that can work its way to the surface, the spark of life to reawaken a slumbering volcano. Now, not all volcanoes are related to subduction. However, another way volcanoes can form is what's known as hotspot volcanism. In this situation, a zone of magmatic activity or a hotspot in the middle of a tectonic plate can push up through the crust to form a volcano. Although the hotspot itself is thought to be largely stationary, the tectonic plates continue their slow march, building a line of volcanoes or islands on the surface. This mechanism is thought to be behind the Hawaii volcanic chain. Now, ask another question. Where are all these volcanoes? Some 75% of the world's active volcanoes are positioned around the Ring of Fire, a 25,000-mile long horseshoe-shaped zone that stretches from the southern tip of South America across the west coast of North America, through the Bering Sea to Japan and onto New Zealand. This region is where the edges of the Pacific and Nazca plates butt up against an array of other tectonic plates. Importantly, however, the volcanoes of the ring aren't geologically connected. In other words, a volcanic eruption in Indonesia is not related to one in Alaska, and it could not stir the infamous Yellowstone supervolcano. So we look at some of the dangers from a volcano. We have already seen what's happening in La Palma. Thousands of buildings have been razed down. Thousands of buildings has been swallowed by the lava that is flowing. So volcanic eruptions pose many dangers aside from lava flows. It's important to heed local authorities' advice during active eruptions and evacuate regions when necessary. One particular danger is pyroclastic flows. Avalanches of hot rocks, ash, and toxic gas that race down slopes at speeds as high as 450 miles an hour. Such an event was responsible for wiping out the people of Pompeii and Herculaneum after Mount Vesuvius erupted in 79 AD. Similarly, volcanic mud flows called lahars can be very destructive. These fast-flowing waves of mud and debris can race down a volcano's flanks, burying entire towns. Ash is another volcanic danger. Unlike the soft, fluffy bits of charred wood left after a campfire, volcanic ash is made of sharp fragments of rocks and volcanic glass, each less than 2 millimeters across. The ash forms as the gases within rising magma expand, shattering the cooling rocks as they burst from the volcano's mouth. It's not only dangerous to inhale, it's heavy and builds up very quickly. Volcanic ash can collapse weak structures, cause power outages, and it's a challenge to shovel away post-eruption. And today we ask, can we predict volcanic eruption, looking at what is going on in Yellowstone volcano in Wyoming? So volcanoes give us some warning of pending eruption, making it vital for scientists to closely monitor any volcanoes near large population centers. Warning signs include small earthquakes, swelling or bulging of the volcano's sides, and increased emission of gases from its vents. None of those signs necessarily mean an eruption is imminent, but they can help scientists evaluate the state of the volcano when magma is building. However, it's impossible to say exactly when or even if any given volcano will erupt. Volcanoes don't run on a timetable like a train. This means it's impossible for one to be overdue for eruption, no matter what. So there are so many eruptions that have happened in history. The 1815 explosion of Mount Tabora in Indonesia was the deadliest and largest eruption ever. The blast was one of the most powerful ever documented and created a caldera, essentially a crater 4 miles across and more than 3,600 feet deep. A superheated plume of hot ash and gas shock